crap. Sony, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, holy hell, like, if I were to rate, like, today's bad news, like, this bad news that Sony put out, like, I would argue this is bad, if not worse, than when Microsoft initially was trying to push the whole DRM, no use games nonsense back in 2013 for the Xbox One reveal. Because, like, unlike Microsoft, Sony's actually going to kill the used games market. Like, so if I were GameStop, I wouldn't be surprised if I filed for bankruptcy in 2028, because this has killed the used games market, or like the very fast death of it. Because let's be real, this is what all these publishers have wanted for a very long time. Very long time. So what am I talking about? Well, as Sony announced just a couple of days ago, they're killing physical games starting January 2028. So let's look at the official blog post, then we'll talk about it. Starting in January 2028, in response to shifting trends in consumer preference, new games will release on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. As consumer preferences in the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical disc to digital, physical game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 28. Following this date, new games will be available on the PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. This translation has no impact on games already released or will be releasing prior to said date. This is a natural direction for SIE to adapt to consumer trends as the global preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games. We will continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation. This is not innovation. This is taking away choice. Anyways, how players can access games provide choice as to where players prefer to buy new games, whether it's at retailers or Play Store. We remain committed, blah, blah, blah. You kind of get the whole point, right?
You really are a dumb son of a bitch.
No. Sony, I got one thing to say. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Because this is literally killing one of the last huge advantages that console gaming had over PC. Because when companies are doing stuff like all the console manufacturers are doing stuff like this, what exactly is the point of what are the advantages of gaming on a console versus on a PC? Because say what you will about PC and Steam and all that, but they actually give you options, because you're not just locked to one store like you are on a console. Because on PC, you've got multiple. You've got Steam, Epic Game Store, as has a much of a steaming pile of crap that store is, GOG, which is completely DRM free, by the way, and there is an offline mode to play your Steam games offline if there's no third party DRM policy inside of it. So I'm like, what is the point of playing on a console? Like, seriously, like, there's just so much more benefits to play on a PC. Like, seeing stuff like this makes me glad I switched to PC gaming outside of the Switch 2, a couple years ago, as I've talked about it before in the past. So I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Sony? Like, seriously, like, for all intents and purposes, I legitimately thought for so long, I really thought that Microsoft would be the one to do it. But Sony? Like, Sony, the number one console, I guess, that sells the most units of this generation, they're the ones to completely get rid of physical copies of video games for their platform. That's like, and they're getting absolutely roasted the living fuck out of themselves on the internet. Like, they've been quiet ever since this news dropped, and they know like this decision was not going to be met well. Like, they knew it. That's why they just put it out and they ran for the goddamn hills. So it's no surprise though. But anyway, if you think that, well, what about Microsoft? Are they going to do the same thing? Well, if this report by The Verge is to be believed, yeah, they're going to do the same thing, but for, like, I guess, light at the end of the tunnel, there is some sort of compromise they're trying to do. So if this report is to be accurate. Anyway, let's go over that. Microsoft will likely soon follow Sony and stop the production of physical disc for Xbox games. However, instead of leaving physical disc behind entirely, sources familiar with Microsoft's plans tell me the company has quietly been working on this disc digital feature that will allow Xbox owners to digitize their existing physical game collection. Employees recently started testing this new feature after references to enable disc to digital appeared in the PC app code in May. I'm told that Microsoft's disc to digital feature will work on Xbox One Series X discs only, so not for those for the 360 original Xbox consoles. So that's kind of a shame. Hopefully, they kind of figure out a way where that would be a thing too, because the thing with those two, because you just essentially you would be playing it on an emulator, on modern Xbox consoles basically. Getting a digital copy of a game works simply by inserting a compatible disc and installing and playing the game. This will require a Microsoft account, obviously, and will grant a digital entitlement for physical games. This digital entitlement is tied to a specific disc, and it will move from account to account if you swap the physical game with a friend or log into a different Xbox profile and try to play a disc-based game. Okay, I'd say that's kind of a fair general compromise. Is it perfect? No, because I personally think it should be for all Xbox games that can play on a modern Series X. So even the OGs, Xbox and 360 games that are backwards compatible, I think that should be a thing for that too, for across the board. So, because back compat on Xbox, I gotta admit, it's really darn good in general. They definitely know how to handle back compat and preserving their legacy way better than Sony does when it comes to that kind of thing. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of games that are delisted and all that, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. Anyways, continuing. The digital entitlement for a physical Xbox game is similar to buying the title from the digital store. If the game is available on cloud gaming and you have a Game Pass sub, you'll be able to stream it. If it's an Xbox Play Anywhere title, you'll also be able to access it on PC and handhelds. The disc to digital feature will also work with discs that come bundled with the system and multi-disc titles. So, for example, Red Dead Redemption 2, just for instance, providing access to everything the disc usually offers, including DLC. Some Xbox One discs might not work with this new feature, though. It all depends on how and when the disc was made, and it may not have all the features we need for this program. This will still work after the digitized. Okay, that's pretty awesome. You'll only lose a digital entitlement if you loan the disc to a friend or sell the disc to someone else. They are currently testing this new feature internally. I expect we'll hear more about it in the coming months. So it sounds like it's far along where they're going to move forward with it. I understand Microsoft hasn't fully finalized with Nether. Project Helix was shipped with a built-in disk drive, and if Helix is disk-free, this feature could be essential for existing Xbox owners wanting to digitize their game collections in time for future Xbox hardware. Okay, I gotta say though, that's really cool of Microsoft to do that. They kind of figured out a way to get around it. Is it still a pretty crappy move to get rid of physical? Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's better than what Sony's doing if Sony isn't offering a similar program. Because let's be real, this whole thing is about publishers wanting to get rid of used games. They've been trying to do it for years. Y'all remember the whole online pass thing for 360 and the PS3 generation for games that had online multiplayer? That was definitely a fad for a long time, and eventually they gave up on it because the used game market is just way freaking better. And essentially, because with those online passes, if you didn't buy the game brand new, or whatever, you're getting only half a game, which is insane to me to even think about. Thank God, those days are long gone. Thank God for that. But this whole thing is just a huge, massive blow to game preservation. So when you really think about it now, the best place to preserve your games is PC, because these console manufacturers sure as fuck aren't going to, especially Sony, which is kind of funny because this news came out right after that report came out about Sony delisting over 500 movies, and they actually removed it from your library. So if you're solely digital on a console, you're not owning your games that you buy. You're just renting them. You're buying a license. You're not actually buying the game. So for true ownership, ironically, PC is the best place to be. Because Valve has even said that even if a game is delisted, publishers have to essentially let you re-download the game no matter what. Because as long as it's in your library on Steam, it's essentially yours, with some exceptions. Again, that is if there's not there's an offline mode on Steam if and you can play that game if it doesn't have a third party DRM. Like one instance I can give is like Pragmata because that actually has de novo. Same thing with Crimson Desert. So those are just two examples right there of games with third party DRM. But if it doesn't have a third party DRM, I mean, you can easily play the game offline. It's not, full on non DRM like GOG, but I mean, it's a step in the right direction, I suppose. But that's kind of why PC gamers are so hard against DRM, myself included. For that reason alone, because of we're just worried about game preservation. So if you're a console gamer, man, I would really second guess if you're gonna upgrade to next gen, because with shit like this, plus all the other shit that's been going on right now, I mean, console gaming is like becoming just more expensive over PC in the long run, especially with the whole pan for online, among all the other shit that we've been seeing. But what a mess. Well, again, I'm shocked that it was Sony who did this instead of Xbox. Still shocked by that, but I don't know. Like, that's just how I see it. But man, this is horrible. This is one of the worst gaming news in a while. Like, especially at least on the Sony side, anyways, because this is just showing their pure greed. That's really what it is. That's really what it is. So, and they're getting absolutely roasted for it, and for very freaking good reason. But that's all I gotta say on this one. But man, I hate this. Even as a PC gamer, I'm still so freaking pissed off about this, as I have a Switch too. But anyways, that's all I gotta say on this. So what do you guys think of this news? Let me down in the comment section below. If you like this video, hit the like button and consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one. Till then, have a good one.